Hi, it's Jen, and I'm so glad you are here. It means that you are curious. It means that you want to learn and expand, and the best thing that you can do. We're here to talk about money, your relationship with it, and how you can set yourself up to have the most clear, intentional, and wealthy 2026 possible. You don't need to have anything prepared, just yourself. Maybe a notebook nearby if you have questions or notes you want to jot down. But as we close out this holiday season, I found myself thinking about a favorite holiday movie, a Christmas movie in the United States called It's a Wonderful Life. It has come to my mind again and again and again. It takes place in 1945, and my favorite scene happens during a flashback during the Great Depression. George Bailey, the lead character, runs a bank, and there's a run on the bank, on all the banks. People want their money. They're afraid. They don't know what else to do. And he goes into the bank and says, I don't have any money. And his very new wife walks in and says, I have $1,000. And throughout the day, they hand out money that the townspeople need. And at the very end of the day, they have $2 left. And they put the $2 in the bank in the safe and they say, Mama Dollar and Papa Dollar, go into the safe and make us some money. And it always made me laugh about how you can put money in the bank and watch it grow. Obviously, we know it doesn't happen with a Mama Dollar and a Papa Dollar, but that is something that I've always held in my heart that when you give that money purpose, it's going to grow for you. It's going to support you, just like it did all the people in that small town in New York State in It's a Wonderful Life. There's so many reasons that we have questions about money and so many things that we aren't taught. And that is part of the reason that you're here. And because we don't understand it, money becomes emotional. It's not just math, numbers, spreadsheets, and acronyms. Even the energy of those $2 that George Bailey put in the safe can be a symbolic difference between feeling wealthy and feeling destitute. The stories that we have about money are the reasons that we have these certain emotions. And the emotions that we feel around money can often lead to avoidance. It's so common and it's so understandable. When we don't know how to address our money, it's easier to avoid it. But when we can begin to understand our money and understand the stories and the reasons that we've been avoiding, we can grow. This is not a time about budgeting, fixing, shaming, or judgment. This entire session is about clarity and intention because there's nothing wrong with you. You are not bad at money. There's no time like the present to decide to make changes that you've probably been putting off for too long. These money stories that we all have, a lot of them are inherited from our parents, from our grandparents. They're reinforced by the stories that we're told and the experiences that we have. But they're also patterns. They can be adaptive and they can be changed, even if they aren't the stories that you chose for yourself. I was very fortunate. I grew up in a home where we talked about money. I always felt like I had an understanding of it and that it was there to support me. I never questioned that I knew what to do when I got out on my own. And I want the same feeling for all of you. This is the reason I have been called to talk about money and how we handle it and how we can manage it and help us to work for us. Playing the money game is something that I find joy in. And I don't mean a game of gambling, and I don't mean a game of the stock markets and investing. I genuinely want to begin by talking with you about knowing your money, understanding where it's going and what it's doing, and how you can make it grow. As an example, when I met my husband, I learned firsthand that people make very different choices than I did. We had to take a look at his finances. He had several $1,000s of credit card debt. He had a brand new car loan, and he wasn't making enough to cover the two. We had to make decisions. We had to figure out what we could cut out, what we could make choices on, what he didn't actually need, because we needed to create a plan and we needed to succeed. I didn't want to fail with him. I wanted our life to be a success. And all of those things started simply in clarity. So think about the money story that you have currently. When you hear the word money, when you think about what's in the bank, what does it bring up for you? If it brings up shame, embarrassment, judgment, insecurity, that's normal. But these things thrive in secrecy and when they are kept within ourselves. When we bring them into the light, we can have that clarity that we are looking for. In order to release secrecy and to release these feelings of insecurity and shame, judgment, anything you feel unhappy about, I want to take a few minutes to acknowledge these things and so we can release them. I invite you to take a couple of minutes to close your eyes. Get yourself seated in a comfortable position. Take some deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. I invite you to bring thoughts of money into your mind. As you continue to breathe, feel in your body where those thoughts go, where those emotions sit, what comes up for you. What stories do you find? Where in your childhood did these ideas come from? I want you to take 3 deep breaths into that part of your body that you are holding these stories. And on your exhale, I want you to release them from that part of your body. Blow them out. Hold those emotions, those stories in your hand. Cradle them and thank them. Thank them for the benefits they have brought you, that they have brought you here today to this exact moment where you get to learn what these stories mean and you can change the trajectory that they have set you on. Take 2 more deep breaths and let these stories and emotions of shame and judgment go. They no longer serve you. You can be free of them. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes and come back. The silence that you have held those emotions in will keep you stuck. There are no mistakes here. Mistakes are just learning opportunities. They're chances to grow. Silence is what will hold you back. Movement forward will allow you to shine. Going forward, we are going to learn about information that can help you grow your money and grow your relationship with money. I want to remind you that all this information is neutral. There is no judgment, no good or bad, no right or wrong. You have been doing the best you can with what you have known. So we're going to move into talking about you and what you can create with this new sense of calm around your money. There are 5 areas that I believe can be used to understand your money better. The first is your financial monthly rhythm. When things come in, when things go out. Your awareness of obligations, things that have to happen, things that you are committed to. The bigger picture and your future, taking things from a high view and then looking back down on them. Your overall financial snapshot, where you are now, anything you own, rent, borrow, where you want to move in the future. And then connection to all of these things with intention. When you understand your monthly financial rhythm, this is what I call giving your money a purpose. When you understand it, you have a clear sense of what flows in and out each month, where your money consistently goes, and where it fluctuates. For example, we're just finishing a time of the year where, especially in the US, we tend to spend a lot of money. We spend money on people around us, our families, our children, events that we go to, clothing that we want to wear, gifts that we give and receive. We know that that's coming, but so many people don't know how they will pay those debts in the new year. Too many people don't plan for it in advance. When you know that it's coming every year, when you can take the time, the energy, and the forethought to prepare for it, you will be able to have a sense of calm and understanding, the ability to have a season unlike any other before. If you know you have regular bills coming and you can save along the way to plan for them when they come, you don't have any more surprises. You're prepared. When you gain awareness of the obligations and the costs, you can understand what commitments you're carrying. You know how your investing allows interest to impact your money over time, or debt and the interest that you have to pay impacts your future. When we have clear intention, we can be scattered with no plan, but when we have clear intention, we can know exactly where we are going and what our purpose is. Looking at the bigger picture, when you go high and then think smaller and smaller as you get lower and lower, you're likely here because you have curiosity about this particular part of your future, wanting to know how to plan for next week, next month, next year, the next 20 years. You want to have clarity on long-term support and security. And you're finally ready to look at how future needs factor into today's decisions. You can have understanding of your overall financial snapshot. What do you own? What do you borrow? Because having debt is like renting someone else's apartment, renting an apartment instead of owning a house. And then when you connect your intention to all of these other things, you can finally have a clear financial focus. You can decide every week, month, day, how your financial choices support that focus and that intention. This isn't about having perfect answers. It's about knowing what you know and noticing what you haven't looked at yet. Here's the best part of this entire presentation. It's about knowing your numbers. And while we go through this tonight, you are also going to receive a copy of the Know Your Money Clarity Guide. And you can go through it for yourself, which I encourage you to do. Take your time. If you feel uncomfortable, that's a good thing. Dig deeper. Learn more. Know more about yourself and your money so that you can have clarity, intention, security, wealth. It might not happen today. You might need to make a plan. but this is your first step. So let's take any direction again away from any fear or shame and look at the curiosity. All of this is information, it's awareness. We're not doing any accounting. I have 5 questions to guide you into the clarity of your numbers. No perfection, all feedback. No right, no wrong. No matter what your answers are, please be gentle and honest with yourself. Do you have a general sense of how much money flows in and out during a typical month? This is simply your income versus your expenses. Take a second. Think about what you know. The second question: what financial commitments are you currently carrying? Think about any monthly or annual expenses that you need to prepare for, or maybe you're consistently surprised by. These can include things like car or home insurance or renter's insurance. It could be a tuition check for a student for your child. It could be anything as simple as taxes, things that might surprise you, but you should expect. I want you to think about how much of your money goes toward interest or fees right now. There are no wrong answers. It's just information. You don't need to worry about getting it right or wrong. This is all just feedback. What is it that you are paying interest on? My next question for you is, do you feel clear on when or how you would like to work or to change in the future? Do you know when you have to retire or when you want to retire? What would this look like? Are you preparing for it now? I know that in the United States, approximately 70% of people who are either retired or nearing retirement age fear that they won't have enough money to support them through the rest of their lives. I don't want this for you. I want you to have the support and the clarity that you need to be successful. If you looked at everything that you own and everything that you owe, do you feel clear or uncertain? By this I mean, do you own a box of tissues that you've paid for? Or have you put it on a credit card that you have to pay interest on it? You are borrowing money from someone if you don't own something outright. So what do you own versus what do you owe? Do you have a financial focus or goal you are working on right now? Maybe you have a trip that you want to take or a nice dress that you want to buy. What is it that is your goal right now? I want you to think about what you've been noticing, even as you're just hearing these questions, even if you don't write anything down. What are the things that shocked you or that you didn't know yet? Remember, you don't need to be exact. Just know some general numbers. That's an amazing place to start. I want you to hear that I do not consider debt anything bad. Debt can actually be an amazing tool. So many things can't happen without somehow putting yourself in a type of debt. Maybe it's going to school or buying a house or a car, starting a business. If my parents hadn't been willing to go into debt, my mother would never have had a successful business. I never would have learned from her how to create a community of women to teach trust, security, respect. Debt can be an amazing thing. And when you know how to use your money, when you know how to make a plan, you can use it to your advantage. Maybe you need something now, but you can't afford it. But you can make a plan for a way to afford it. This is how you make your money work for you. These are the games that I like to play. These are the things that I know you can make happen for you too. Earning money is the biggest way that people acquire money. People acquire money through work most times. Some people are lucky enough to inherit money or to invest wisely and have their money grow. That's wonderful. But for most of us, earning is the beginning of wealth. Earning more can expand choice and generosity, but income alone does not create wealth. If it did, we would never hear stories of bankrupt celebrities or professional athletes with massive earnings and massive debt. We wouldn't hear about entertainers having to perform at certain places for an extended period of time to pay off gambling bills. We would have a community of people who knew how to handle money and grow it. If it was all about income, we would not see people who have $50 to $100,000 a year jobs quietly building seven-figure net worths over time. Yet both sides of this coin are very real. So which side would you like to be on? Wealth is not just about how much you earn. It is more about how intentionally you relate to that money. Money can be a tool, but it's not necessarily a guarantee. If we don't address the money stories, the things that we were avoiding earlier tonight, we can't create more opportunity. Earning more by itself potentially could create opportunity, but without the clarity and the intention, it can often just increase the scale of the same patterns. Income without intention means more spending, more pressure, more avoidance, more stress, possibly at an even higher level. And this is why two people with the exact same income can have completely different financial realities. Intention is what turns your money into support. Intention is the difference between money controlling your life and money supporting your life. I truly believe that anyone can feel rich earning $50,000 a year and feel poor earning $1 million a year. Because rich isn't a number. It's an experience of stability, of choice, and of trust. When money is aligned with intention, your decisions can feel calmer. Your trade-offs can feel conscious, not forced. You stop reacting and start making choices. Wealth is not the stability, is the stability. I'm sorry. Wealth is the stability. Excess is extra. It's a bonus. Wealth does not require extravagance. Wealth is knowing that your bills are covered, having margin for things that are unexpected, being able to say yes when it matters, and being able to sleep at night without money anxiety. Excess without stability is fragile. Stability without excess is powerful. And I do not believe that you have to choose. You do not have to choose between living your life and building your legacy. The idea that you have to suffer to have wealth is a belief I want to dismantle right now. Because you can make a choice as to where your money goes and when. You do not have to abandon your future to enjoy your life today. I truly believe it is possible to enjoy your life, to live within your means, and to put your money to work, growing steadily over time. My theory about money is that it is not about restriction. It is about alignment. It is about knowing what is most important to you in your life, what your values are. And when you can align your money with those things, you will never feel poor. Balance does not mean deprivation. It means intention. So remember that earning more is not selfish, but it is also not secure. It is not perfect. Money can support the life you want, but wealth is built with intentionality, and it is not accidental. So, how do we integrate all of this knowledge into our daily lives? Because we start with one small step, because you don't need to choose everything all at once. Again, this is not about being perfect. This is about being consistent. As an example, when my husband and I got together and I learned about his financial issues and his debt, he decided that he wanted to stop drinking so much Starbucks. Caramel macchiato is his go-to drink, and on some days he'd have two of them. That can add up really fast. So we realigned his values. His values were to have a successful, wonderful life with me where we could pay for our mortgage and we could have a child and we could have a life together. The caramel macchiatos just didn't fit into that vision. So instead of cutting them out altogether, most days he made his coffee at home. And I'll tell you, I don't like to make the coffee anymore. His coffee is a lot better than mine. So now he makes his coffee at home in the morning. And we've been able to realign that money into things that we really want. A life with a child, with vacations, with travel, with enjoying our family, with going to dinner and buying things that we want from time to time. It adds up quickly when you make one small choice. So remember, you don't have to do it all at once. Tomorrow, you're going to receive the replay of this call and a guide to help you stop avoiding and start gaining clarity with your money. Again, this is the first step to start growing your wealth. If you are watching this as a replay, you can find the guide on my website at www.jenverser.com. The Know Your Money Clarity Guide is completely free for you, and it's a thoughtfully designed guide that helps you reflect on your money story, understand your numbers without overwhelm, and clarify what it truly matters to you as you move into 2026. I would also like to invite you to join me on a private one-on-one 1-hour clarity session call. During this 60-minute private clarity session, we'll walk through that clarity guide together. You'll gain support in interpreting your numbers. We'll identify your patterns, and we'll make sense of what you're seeing without judgment and without pressure. We'll also dive into a personalized insight and direction that you need to take. We'll look for insights that you might be overlooking, patterns that are influencing your money decisions currently, and one clear, aligned next step that you can trust. After our call, you'll receive a brief written recap so that you can stay grounded, focused, and clear on what matters in the weeks, months, and years ahead. The change begins the moment you choose clarity. The Know Your Money Reset is available to you for $197 USD through January 4th, if you feel called to continue this work with support. As you move forward, remember this. Owning your financial experience is one of the most powerful ways to move into the life you want. When you are clear with your money, your decisions become steadier, your goals feel closer, and your confidence will grow. Clarity creates confidence, intention creates direction. Wealth is built when you trust yourself. Thank you for your curiosity, your openness, and your willingness to look honestly at something that so many people avoid. I believe deeply that when more money is in the hands of women, more good is done in the world. I would be honored to support your clarity and growth as you take your next steps.